Accelerating their sound right into the fast lane, the supercharged rock band Chevelle is at it again.
I think this is the best record we've done so far.
For their fourth major label release, the band chose the new recording studio at the Palms Hotel.
We did a record in Chicago, we did a record in Vancouver, BC, we did one in LA, and now we've done Vegas.
Qualifying for an open spot in the band, bassist Dean Bernardini.
It's a luxury to be working with Pete and Sam at this level.
In anticipation of the new single, Anti-Saint, the Beyond Access crew visited Chevelle while recording what they say will be their heaviest rock album yet.
We're a pretty heavy rock band. Our records have gotten progressively harder as opposed to softer to become more mainstream.
A lot of bands say that, oh man, our next record's going to rock, it's going to be really heavy. And then they come out with, ballads and all that. We're actually getting heavier. I think we're actually staying true to that.
The way it's transferring right now, it's extremely heavy. It's actually getting heavier from our pre-production that we did because we didn't really have the right tones as far as guitar, amps, sounds and everything. Like pre-production is more about getting the songs roughed in the way we think they're going to go down on tape. So you really don't even focus on that side of the music, like what's going to sound like. But it was very aggressive song structures and very aggressive lyrics and getting those tones and making it hit as hard as it could.
The band's name came from their passion for fast cars. Their music is followed with the horsepower to match.
I grew up with muscle cars, hence the name Chevelle. We're car nuts.
That's how we grew up around cars and things like that. And as we got more successful, we were able to get to more expensive, more exotic cars. If not own them ourselves, at least borrow them from people.
I'm scared when Sam drives. He's got a picture of himself on the website doing I think it was 130.
I love to ride motorcycles. I love cars, all that stuff.
Sam's insane.
Chevelle's need for speed drives their good times, but racing towards success means they know when to shift gears and get serious about the music.
We have a record cycle, which is, making the record, touring on it, writing, and then go make another record. That whole thing is about, 2 years, maybe a little bit less. On this one, it's been 2 years. The one downside to it was that we were so close to making this record that we had to take a second bus out with us so we could write during the day and play shows at night. And I'll never, ever do that again. It was absolutely brutal. We would go in the morning, we would get up, get our stuff, get on that bus, work for 4 or 5 hours, and then around 5 or 6 o'clock, we would go try and get a little something to eat, then go do our show, and then after our show, we'd go back in, work a little bit, and then start over the next day. And then our days off were spent in the bus for 12 hours, and it was brutal.
While living on the road, it can be a challenge to fight off rock star burnout. Chevelle's custom-made video console was designed to help shake off some tension.
I didn't really get into video games until we started touring pretty heavy, where I had some downtime. And then we built our video game system. It's a big flat screen. It has a huge sub in it, some big speakers, and we can watch movies. We can play all kinds of video games. And as soon as people hear it, they come in, and all of a sudden you got 4 people all the time playing. The video game things are probably one of the coolest things that's happened because it makes the tour come together pretty good.
With the addition of bassist Dean Bernardini, Chevelle has taken a new approach to their songwriting.
The fact that Dean Bernardini is playing bass with us now is pretty amazing. The biggest change is that I would sort of write the music and bring it to them. And this time around, I wrote the music, I brought it to them, and then we also worked on it together as a collective. It was something that we didn't have before.
And probably the biggest thing that has changed is when Dean came into this band, he's a drummer.
Yeah, they asked me to play on a couple occasions, and I was like, I can't, I'm a drummer.
And this record specifically, he sat down with me to work out certain fill parts.
Having a different person come in at this stage in their career, I think it helps. They never really had someone else to go to besides a producer, and I'm kind of like a best friend and a brother, so I love challenges. It was definitely a challenge to take something from a drum standpoint and apply it to bass.
Returning for the third time, legendary producer Michael Elvis Baskette steers Chevelle toward a harder, more aggressive sound. Baskette's resume reads like a who's who of rock and roll.
One of the things that Elvis did when we were doing the pre-production was go back and listen to a lot of the old demos that we had, songs that we've finished and then never really recorded, little bits, little guitar licks here and there.
We literally wrote parts, put them together, and then he came in and he said, okay, you need to take this part out, you need to add this part, you need to write a new part. So we always write everything ourselves, but this record was definitely 100% produced by him.
I think the great thing about Elvis is he lets Pete do his thing. You know, he doesn't overwork stuff, but he's got a great sense of Pete's already proven himself as a writer. You know, let him do his thing, and it's worked out great.
Listen for Chevelle's new track, Anti-Saint, in MLB 07 The Show, and on the new epic release, Vena Sera. Special thanks to Chevelle for allowing us a Beyond Access look at the recording of their new album. See you next time.